Sheriff's Office.
Hi, ma'am. This is Scott Sunford. I was robbed last weekend. I live at 320 North St. Hilaire. Anyways, after the robbery, I had an ADT alarm system installed, and they put it on a 1-week trial period where if anything went off, nobody would respond. And today at 324, 327, and 328, I had 3 sensors tripped, and I've been out of town with family for a funeral. My wife was home. And
did somebody break into the residence?
I don't know. I've been out of town. I'm just on my way back, and I haven't been able to get a hold of the wife, so I was just hoping somebody can come meet me out there. It's probably nothing, but I would feel better.
Welcome to 8MC Investigations, the place for true crime content. If you're a fan of consistent videos, check out our uploads. I'm sure you'll find something you've never seen before, and we're always adding to the library, so make sure you're subscribed. The absolute best way to support the channel is to subscribe, and the only violence that I condone is you assaulting that like button if you want to see more. We are going to be putting a ton of extra content on Patreon, so if you like all the extra information surrounding these kinds of cases, consider becoming a patron. Okay, enough rambling, let's get into it. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the Desiree Sunford murder that took place in Yakima County, Washington in the early morning hours of April 7, 2013. 30-year-old Desiree, who worked as an art teacher at Wapato Middle School, was shot 9 times in her home that morning in what appeared to be a burglary. Yakima detectives were not able to solve this case, and it went cold for about a year. Then in July of 2014, a tip came through Crimestoppers that blew the case wide open. This is a story of a love triangle that turned deadly. Scott Sunford, the husband of the victim Desiree Sunford, was having an affair with Paige Blades. Well, Desiree was also having an affair with Paige Blades. They were in an open, 3-way relationship. But the plot thickens. Marty Grismer, who was also married with a child, was in love with Paige Blades. Paige was certainly the center of attention in this circle of friends. Well, that anonymous tip came from Paige Blades, and she named Marty Grismer as the killer. There are several interrogations surrounding this case, which we'll be putting on Patreon. Here on YouTube, you will see the interrogation of Marty Grismer, Paige Blades, and Scott Sunford. Here is the interrogation of Scott Sunford. But first, let us have a moment of silence for the victim in this case.
Yeah, the security stuff I got on here.
Okay. Well, like I told you, my name's Sam Pearl. I'm a detective here at the Sheriff's Office. Need to let you know that we're being recorded here, audio and video in this room. There's a camera up in the corner there. I'll just read a little introduction here so that the people watching the tape later know what we're talking about. Following statement concerns a shooting that happened on or about April 7th, 2013 at 320 North St. Hilaire Road, Yakima County Sheriff's Department. Case number is 13C04701. Today's date is, I think it's still the 7th. Nope, it's April 8th, 2013 now. The time is 002 hours. Location is Yakima County Sheriff's Office in Yakima. Present during the statement are myself, Detective Sam Peralt, and Scott Sunford. What's your full name?
Scott Ingvald Johan Sunford.
Okay.
It's Norwegian.
Okay. What's your address?
320 North St. Hilaire.
Okay. And what's your age and date of birth?
31, July 19th of 81.
Okay. Do you understand that we're being recorded right now?
Yes.
Do I have your permission to keep recording?
Absolutely.
Okay. What's your cell phone number?
509.
Okay. And who's your carrier?
AT&T.
AT&T. No, you said you had iPhones.
Yeah.
And since we're here at the sheriff's office, I'm gonna read this to you. I don't expect you've probably ever been in trouble, but I'm sure you've seen this on TV.
What's that?
You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you in a court of law. You have the right at this time to talk to a lawyer and have him present with you while you're being questioned. If you cannot afford to hire a lawyer, one will be appointed to represent you before question if you wish. You can decide at any time to exercise these rights and not answer any questions or make any statements. Okay? Do you understand each of these rights as I explain them to you?
Yes.
Okay.
There's one thing that does confuse me, though.
What's that?
Generally, if you read somebody their Miranda rights, that implies that they're under arrest.
No, not always. It just means that we're conducting our investigation. I can tell you, you're not under arrest right now. Okay? But we are here at the sheriff's office, and we're being recorded. So, as a matter of protocol, when we're conducting our investigations, we do read people their Miranda warnings, okay?
Oh, okay, that makes sense, because at least this way you have it on record that I'm receiving my Miranda rights. In case there is an arrest later on, you can't say I wasn't read my rights and get released.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay, so you understand what's
Yeah.
going on, and having those rights in mind, are you willing to keep talking to me now about what happened out at your house?
Of course.
Okay.
As much as I can. I mean, I can't help you too much. I wasn't there, but...
Okay. Well, I wasn't either, and I just got here literally a few minutes ago. So can you just kind of start from the beginning and tell me what happened?
Well, quite honestly,
What
you just
is your
informed me
understanding?
of something else. There was a shooting.
Right.
Okay. What can you tell me?
All I know is that we were called out to your house and that there was a body found, and that it looks like the person had been shot. So that's where I'm asking you to jump in and help me fill in the blanks as far as what led us out there.
Okay. Sorry. All right. Let's see. You said today is now the, 8th?
It's the 8th now, yes,
Okay.
just after midnight.
On the 6th at 10 in the morning was my Aunt Joy's funeral service in Pasco at Kennewick at the City Church. So that morning, I guess that'd be Saturday, I left the house at probably 8:30.
Okay.
And that was the last time I was there before the last time I was in my house. After I left there, I went down to the Tri-Cities. I went to the service, and from that point on, I was with my dad and grandpa, and I don't know, the service probably ran on until about 2 or so, maybe less. I called Des after the graveside portion and the luncheon portion. I was just kind of trying to get away from the old guys for a minute and get up and walk around. So I went outside and I gave her a call and sat there talking on the phone for a while. And I told her that my Aunt Mary and Frank were having a dinner out at their place at 6:30, so I was going to go out there, and I was going to be a little later than expected, because the idea was I run up, go to the funeral, hugs, handshakes, turn around, go home. And I had got some family from the coast from all around that I hadn't seen in quite some time, and a lot of that side of the family is kind of yuppies that I don't get along too well with. I'm blue collar, military mechanic, don't really hang out with the sharp dressed crowd too much.
Yeah.
So luckily the ones that I liked made it up there, and we got together for dinner, and it ran a bit late. It was probably 11 or so, and I told her, I it's kind of rainy, it's windy, tired as hell, long day, and they want to do a breakfast get together in the morning. I'm going to stay here for the night. So I did, and went out there for breakfast, and we were around for a while, and I don't know, probably around noonish or so we left that, and went back to my dad's house with him and my grandpa, and got together some old guitars that were still at his house and some sanders and stuff, because I got a kitchen table and some chairs for her not too long ago, but the chairs needed to get refinished. And of course, you know, new homeowners, we don't have too much stuff around there for stuff like that yet.
Mm-hmm.
So I hit up my dad, and he gave me a few old sanders that he had, and he's a woodworker. So got those loaded up in the car, got the guitars in there and everything, and let's see. Oh, I guess it was probably about 5:30 by the time we finally got out of my dad's house.
5:30 this evening?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a quick trip.
and he lives down
He's
in
on
the Tri-Cities area?
Yeah, he's in Kennewick on 312 East
Okay.
First Place.
Okay.
And we all left there and went down to Carl's Jr. in Kennewick and did dinner there. And I don't know, I would have to say probably about 7:30-ish. I'd have to verify. It was 7:30 in there is when I finally left. And I went south on 395 and hopped on 82 to Yakima. Came up that way, and I came in on the, what's the name of that? Conowak Pass.
Okay.
Yeah, I took the old Yakima Highway up to Conowak Pass.
Mm-hmm.
And during that drive on 82, I tried repeatedly, in fact, see if I can give you some times. My dad and my grandpa and I had been joking around about how, it's strange, Des hasn't called yet, you know, she hasn't been bugging me yet today, because she's a real stickler on the times. She schedules tight.
Yeah.
I adapt and overcome and kind of go spontaneous. So we've been joking about that. And let's see. All it's showing is the last phone call to her at 9:11 p.m. But
That's the last time you tried to call her?
yeah. Anyways, I'm sure the phone records could give you more specifics if you need them, but all along the drive I just kept calling her randomly, trying to get a hold of her. And I sent her a text even at one point, you know, why aren't you answering? And just wasn't getting anything from her, and it was kind of freaking me out. Because, well, after the robbery last weekend, Deputy Wuchek had said that it looked like they had been interrupted or spooked or something, and that they may be back. So the next day we had a ADT system installed, and it was all kind of starting to build up and driving me a little nuts.
Mm-hmm.
And before I even made that turn off to the Yakima Highway, you know, maybe 45 minutes, half hour outside of the Tri-Cities, it was kicking in. And I kept thinking, you know, maybe I should just call somebody and have them go check on her. Maybe I should call the police. Oh, no, that's silly. She's probably in the shower. She's probably going to the bathroom, doing something. Or she's outside, because she'd said something about wanting to do some yard work. So I had to fix the tire on the wheelbarrow for her. So probably left the phone inside her. She's taking a nap. It's on silent. You know, I just kept telling myself everything's fine. And I couldn't take it anymore. If I call and she doesn't get it, usually within 10-15 minutes she's picked up the phone and called me back, you know, what's going on. So by this time it had already been like an hour of me trying to get a hold of her with nothing. And I took her car to the Tri-Cities and left mine because, well, the last weekend when we were out of town was when it became illegal to be running studs, and I still got my studs on the Charger.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, don't need a ticket. And Crown Vic's full of gas, Charger's on E and has studs. Come on. And so she convinced me to take the cop car. So I took hers, and she said she didn't want to drive my car. She's like, I'm not even going to drive it. Don't even bother leaving me keys, whatever. Well, keys anyways. If you need it, take it. And so I wasn't expecting her to be gone. Really didn't think she'd go anywhere. And with the way the wind was, I knew she wasn't going to take the bike anywhere. She's kind of a picky rider. And so it was driving me nuts. And about the time I got on the Conowak Road-ish area, it was too much. I called. And the first gal I talked to, I told her, I'm probably just crazy, but I checked my phone a little while ago, and I got the alarm system was set to arm stay, meaning that she's at home. So that kind of implies that she was there, and the motion detector's turned off for the stay home, and the motion detector comes on for stay gone. Well, when it's home, the door switches still work. And when I checked the phone and I saw that both doors had tripped within close time frame of each other, when I looked at it, it said front door open closed like 324, and then back door open closed 327, open closed 328. So in my head, I put that together as she goes in the front door, out the back door, and then, obviously shuts the doors behind her, and then comes back in the back door and shuts it. So she should be home. So why isn't she answering me? She should be in the house. Because that's in, out, in, So it was really driving me nuts, and I had to call him. And I called in, and I talked to the dispatcher, and she said that there were no units available. When one became available, they'd have them run by, and she asked, about where you at, and it's like, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes from the house, maybe, if that. And so I started heading up the road a little bit further, and I checked the alarm system again, and then it came back as like offline, cannot connect, something. It was being really weird on me. So I stopped over there just on the other side of the highway on the Foucher Road and, was it 24? Just on the south side of 24 on Foucher Road, there's large gravel lot. I don't know if it's like a semi-feeding station where they, dump the grain into the trucks or something, but I pulled in there real quick, and I went through and closed out all my apps and rebooted the phone, and then when it came back online, it was fine. And I went ahead and armed the alarm system and set it as armed away, so the motion sensor was active, thinking the alarm system's going to start chirping in the house. Des is going to go over there and disarm it, so next time I look at my phone, it's going to be disarmed. Or she's going to hear it going off, she's going to walk through the house and trigger the motion sensor, and it's going to piss her off, and she's going to disarm it, and she's going to call me and be like, what the hell are you doing? Don't do that crap, that's annoying. I was just absolutely certain that was going to happen. And it didn't, and that scared me. So I kind of stalled a little bit. I drove around waiting, just giving her that chance to call me, and giving the deputy a chance to get free and get over there. And I headed to the house, and I pulled down the driveway, and I went down the driveway to the left, and I fired up my spotlight, and I pointed it at the back door. I noticed my charger's there, so she must be home. And I put the light up on the back door, and I noticed that the board that I had screwed up there from the previous break-in, the bottom quarter of the board had been broke off. And you could see the window was all messed up again. So immediately I got back on the phone with dispatch, and I told them, my house has been broken into again. My wife is not responding. She should be home, and she's not talking to me. I need somebody here now. And I stayed there. I kept waiting. I couldn't go in. I didn't know what the hell to do. So I backed the car up a ways, and got on the phone, and I called my friend Brian that lives out in Glebe. He and I worked together. We deployed together. He's in a little motorcycle organization, man, Combat Veterans United.
Mm-hmm.
Do the fundraisers for all the veterans' families. And I called him up and asked him, hey, you awake? You dressed? Will you come over? I think I need you. And he said, yeah, I'm in my sweats. Give me about 45 minutes, I'll be there. So I couldn't go in there. So I just waited. And after a little while longer, it was driving me nuts again. So I got on the phone, I called up my dad. I told him, I don't know what the hell to do. Somebody's broke in. Des should be in there, and she's not answering me. And if she's, I can't walk in and see anything. If something's wrong in there, I can't see it. But at the same time, if somebody broke in when she was there, and she got hurt or restrained, and I was sitting out in the car, sitting outside while she's scared, and I can't go in there to help her, that was going to drive me nuts. So I asked him, hey, what the heck can I do? And it's like, well, you got my 45 on you, right? Yeah. Go in there. So just as I was regaining myself, getting it back together, getting ready to do it, the deputy from Moxie pulled up alongside me. And God, it could not have been better timing. Because right then I was able to just say, hey, my alarm system's on. It's off. Here's my keys. Please. I can't do this. And I just waited there. And he walked around, and I stayed at my car, had the spotlight on the back door still, had the door open, standing in the door, using it for cover, in case he spooks him out the rear, and had my weapon ready but not drawn, and just stayed there waiting. And he circled the residence, and he went up from around the back side and all along the picture windows and across the back by the master bedroom and bath, mm-hmm. around the fence, onto the patio and in the front door. And he came, it had been a little while. It seems like I should have seen lights coming on. I should have seen flashlights in the windows, something. And I got nothing. And I didn't hear anything either. So I walked around, and I wanted to see if the bikes were there too, because maybe she was bound and determined she had to run down to the store for something.
She has her own bike that she rides?
Yeah, I got her one of the newer bike than mine. I got her a 2010 Sportster 883 iron, and welded up a little cargo rack for the back of it and everything so she could use it for school. And so I went into the garage real quick and I checked to make sure the bikes were there. Yeah, both bikes are there. My car's there, her car's here. I look over and there's the deputy standing out on the front patio, looking like he's on the phone or on the radio or something. He had a device up to his head. And he saw me and immediately started walking over. And I didn't make it any more than about halfway to the gravel to him when he said, go wait over by the car. I'm coming with you. Let's go over there. I opened it. He said I opened the door and I called for Des and I got no response. I hollered police department, nothing. I didn't see a dog. Nothing's going on in there. It just doesn't seem right. I got backup coming. So we stood over by the car for a minute, just kind of talking, shooting the breeze. And all of a sudden out on the gravel road there on Rosa, I see 3 cars coming, running code 3. So it's like, wow, they sent 3 of them. I was expecting 1. Heck yeah, send 10. It's kind of important to me, man.
Yeah.
Bring them all. Well, the 3 cars get there, and they line up, and they tell me to go wait in my car. And they went back in the front door there. And then another car shows up, and I think it was the sergeant. It appeared to be shorter than the rest of the guys, graying hair. And he kind of pulled in to the back and right and not really falling in the line with the rest of the guys and started heading for my back door. I told him, hey, the other 4 went in the front door on the other side. Go to your right. And he kept going for the back door, and once he saw it was still closed, he looped around and went where I told him to. And then another car shows up out there. I assume that would have been you, because they said that a detective was on the way, or...
Must have been a different detective.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, then that car shows up, and next thing I know, they come outside, and one guy's patting me down. They're asking if I'm armed. I'm like, yeah, I just told the other deputy. Got a .45 right side, inside the waistband, hip holster, you know. And I had it in the car because, well, it's my dad's old gun. You know, I was bringing it up from the Tri-Cities, and when I was pulling into the house, I stopped up at the end of the driveway, right up there by the dumpster, about halfway to the house, and went around, popped the trunk, and quickly slapped it on before I came down. So I was ready to go. And so they took the gun and patted me down, and they pulled the Surefire flashlight out of my back pocket. I haven't seen that yet. And took whatever else they wanted, and had me sit in the back of one of the cars. And one of the deputies told me that there was a deceased woman inside, and that was all he would say about it. He obviously, I mean, I understand he can't ID her because they don't know her. So I was like, you know, about 30 years old, dark hair, heavy set. Yep. Okay, so I got back over to the police car. And, let me backtrack a little bit there as well. As soon as I got to the house and I had the spotlight on the door, before I even called Brian or my dad, after talking to the dispatcher, she had asked, did you call any of her friends or families to see if she's with them, you know? So I got to thinking about it, and pretty much all of our friends are our friends. You know, we don't really have her friends, my friends kind of thing. Mm-hmm. We're couples, we're friends with couples, we're part of groups. It's kind of how we are. We're together. And the only thing I could think of was, you know, I'm sorry. Evidently it's not on silent. Yeah. Oh, it's my dad, he must be here. So, where's that at? Oh. So I get on the phone and I call her mom, and I didn't want to scare her mom, get her worked up or anything. So I just asked her, you know, has Des talked to you today? I've been trying to get a hold of her and haven't gotten anything. No, hasn't talked to me at all. Okay, well, that's kind of strange. All right, well, that's all I wanted to know. And all she said was, okay, well, let me know when you get a hold of her. And that was the end of the mother-in-law contact. So I don't know if the deputy in Grant County's got a hold of her yet, but as of my last knowledge, she still didn't know anything.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Okay. And so anyways, back to where I was at, they put me in the cruiser, and you know, from then on it's just the officer popping in and talking a little bit and stepping back out, and that was about all.
Okay. And when they described the female that they found inside, did that
They didn't. I told
mean anything
them.
to you? Well, okay, you described it to them, you're right.
And they said
So-
yes,
Okay,
that's probably her.
okay.
So I guess as of now I still can't say for sure, but I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I believe that it was your wife that was found inside the house.
Yeah.
You said that you had your dad's .45 with you.
Yeah, my dad was sergeant with the Franklin County Sheriff's Department for many years, and he had a old 80 series Colt Mark IV 1911 that was his duty pistol for many years. And he shot competitively for the police department and got all kinds of great awards for it and everything. And after the deployments and everything, he was like, heirloom.
That's
It's yours now.
Yeah.
So,
Did you keep any other guns inside the house?
yeah, I had a few.
Okay, what kind of guns did you have in there?
Let's see, I had, well, let's go with Dez's. When her grandfather died, her mom left a few guns to us because I'm a military guy, I shoot. I got Dez going on it, so she left a Remington Wingmaster.
Okay, shotgun.
Yep, and a Remington Huntsmaster, which is a pump action 30-06. And then 2 revolvers made by Haas. They were Sig Sauer before Sig Sauer got together.
What caliber are the revolvers?
One of them is a .22 long rifle, and one of them is a .357. They're both single actions. Dez also had a carry pistol that was a Ruger LCP 380. And then on the top shelf of the closet of one of the guest rooms, we're using it for a storage unit at the moment. It'd be the one as you're coming down the driveway to the right-hand side.
Mm-hmm.
In that closet is where I kept them all. I didn't have a gun safe yet. And
So all the guns that should be together in that one spot.
right, except for her carry pistol, she would have. And then my carry pistol is the one that was stolen.
Okay, the 1911.
Yeah, the Springfield Arms one. And I haven't been carrying in a while. That's why I let my LCP or my CPL expire. It's one of those things I've been trying to train myself off of. Life's not that dangerous.
Yeah. You said you were in the military?
Yeah, 13 years.
13 years. And you were a mechanic?
Mm-hmm.
Did you get deployed in combat areas?
Yeah, we had a couple deployments.
Where at?
Iraq.
Iraq.
Yeah, and that just covers hers.
So you've got your own guns as well?
Yeah, my grandpa's, it's one of those things, he likes to give guns for presents.
Yeah.
So up on the top shelf up there, I also had a Jennings 9mm that I got from a co-worker that couldn't get it to fire consistently. It was running in single action. So I replaced a few springs in it and played with it. And first time I test fired it, the frame cracked on it. So it got stripped apart and there's piles of the gun sitting on the top shelf. And then as far as the rest of them is concerned, I've got my first gun ever was in there. It's a Norinco JW-15. It's a .22 long rifle, bolt action. And then I also had, 22s, we'll work our way up. I had a Ruger 10/22s that my dad got me. Of course, that's a .22 long rifle, the only caliber available for it. And let's see, probably next smallest would be, I had the 222s, an M1 Garand, the 30-06 M1 Garand, G-A-R-A-N-D. Good man. A Model 98 Mauser, 8mm. A Remington Model 10 12-gauge shotgun. Let's see, I had another shotgun in 22, but that's at the mother-in-law's. The Colt that your officer has in his trunk. Oh, my baby. 1898 Springfield Arms 3040 Krag. It's actually a K.
You said that you tried to call Desiree on the way back from the Tri-Cities. When was the last time that you actually talked to her on the phone?
The last time I talked to her was at the funeral service.
On Saturday?
Yeah.
What time do you think that was?
I'll see if it's still stored in here.
You can just give me an approximate time for now. It'd be close enough. We can.
I'm just
check
trying
it.
to give it to you as specific as I can. 9/11. Yesterday, 8:36. Let's see. I would be looking for Saturday. Here we go. Oh, evidently I talked to her. Oh, okay. Yeah, it was only a couple minutes. I guess the last communication I had with her was 6:29 p.m. for 7 minutes. And the phone call at the funeral, that's only 3 minutes. Oh, she called me back because it got messed up. No.
What's her phone number?
Dez's?
Yeah.
It's 509, of course.
Do you guys have a home phone, a landline?
No.
You just use the cell phones.
Just the cells.
And is her phone through AT&T as well?
Yeah, same account.
Okay. So you talked to her yesterday evening for about 7 minutes, and did she indicate that anything was wrong or everything seemed okay that
No,
time?
it was fine. I mean, obviously it's a short short phone call. It's only 7 minutes, but yeah, it was just a quick hi. Yeah, looks like I'm gonna stay. It's going kind of long. Love you. Talk to you soon. See you tomorrow. You know.
Then you stayed at your dad's in Kennewick?
No, I actually stayed with a friend, but let's see.
What's the friend's name?
Oh, her name's Paige. She's a mutual friend. I guess it was probably about 10 that I got back together at Mary's for the breakfast.
10 a.m. on Sunday morning.
Yeah. And everybody else left out of there at about the same time. We all left slightly after them.
Where's Paige live?
She's up in Moses Lake, or Warden actually, sorry. Same thing.
What's Paige's last name?
Blades.
Do you have a phone number for her?
I'm sure I do. Okay, she's a 501 also.
501.
509, I mean, sorry.
How far is Warden from the Tri-Cities?
It's about an hour.
About an hour?
Yeah.
Each way?
It's damn near as long as coming here.
Okay.
But I had to go up there because of the guitars that I had in the trunk. She's a mutual friend of ours for a while. Oh, it's my dad. Or no, that's shit. That's the mother-in-law. At 10:30. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, she's been. I got two of my friends now that I've gotten started into music. One of my friends I got started on bass, and she used to play acoustics, and she was wanting to get back into it a little bit. And so, after collecting the guitars up at my dad's house, had to go show her one I thought she'd like. So I got this little Kent. It's probably half as heavy as a normal guitar is. It's just a real slim body, narrow fretboard, quick action, just great beginner guitar.
So when did you drive to Warden?
God, probably about 11.
11 o'clock.
Yeah, it was
last
late.
night. And what time do you think you arrived at Paige's house?
I'd say 12:30-ish. She had already went and laid down, so I had to go wake her butt up.
And then you said you got back to the Tri-Cities about 10 a.m. on Sunday for breakfast with your family?
Yeah, pretty close. I think it was about 8:45 I left there, so that would put me there about right. Because on the way to Warden, I did the, what is that, the Central Washington University Research Area / Warden turnoff by the Scootney Reservoir, out Booker Road.
I'm not very
Anyways.
familiar with that area.
Yeah, well, I took that route to get to her house, and then on the way back, I came down 17, gassed up in Othello, and rolled out from there.
Did Desiree know that you were going to Paige's?
I don't know, honestly.
It's not something you had discussed with her?
No. No, Paige would come stay with us, we'd stay with her.
Was it just a platonic friendship, or did you have
Well,
a sexual relationship with Paige?
You know, I shouldn't go there because it's kind of rude, but, well, Des didn't want me to say anything to anybody, but she kind of had mixed feelings. And if I'll do anything, but that's one thing I can't provide for her. So at one point, her and Paige had a little thing going for a while there, a little experiment.
Okay, so it was
So-
it was Desiree and Paige who had the sexual relationship?
Yeah.
But not you and Paige? Or sometimes,
We all did.
Sometimes you and Paige too?
Honestly, we all did.
Okay. So you don't think it would not have bothered Desiree to know that you were going to stay with Paige?
No. And honestly, we didn't even do anything. I was out on the couch anyways, because it's kind of one of those things where as long as we're going to do anything, we need to make sure we all are fine with doing anything. So
it's
everybody stays informed.
All right.
So if there's no information or no previous arrangements made, nothing happens. Avoid hard feelings.
So it
and
sounds like you
awkwardness.
and Desiree had a pretty open relationship as long as the communication
Generally,
lines
no.
were... No?
Generally, no, just with her.
Just with her. There was a special relationship with Paige?
Yeah.
Okay. had you and Desiree been getting along lately?
Great.
No problems in the marriage?
No. Typical marriage things, you know, bickering and picking at each other for stupid little things.
No big fights, though?
No.
Don't worry.
Kiss and hug and go to night happy, or go to bed at night happy, you know.
Okay. Let's go back to the military experience. You spent 13 years in the military?
Yeah.
What branch?
Army National Guard.
Okay. And you were a mechanic, you said? You did 2 tours in combat areas?
Yeah.
Okay. What areas of the world were you in?
Iraq, Germany, Kuwait. That's about it.
Was all the combat in Iraq?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you see any direct combat?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you suffer injuries in combat?
I got blown up a few times, but nothing really. Well, I got shot too, but I was wearing body armor, so it didn't cause any injuries.
Shot and blown up. So you were really in the combat. You were close to the front line?
Well, I mean, when you stop and think about it in the grand scheme of things, not really.
No. How did you get blown up? Was it like some kind of IED or?
Well, okay, one of them was a VBIED. Working a checkpoint, car bomb blows up, people go flying. Another one was an RPG that hit near me and kind of tipped me over, rung the bell a little. And then 3 other ones were in vehicles while I was operating them, you know, roadside IEDs.
Mm-hmm. Wow. That's rough. How are you coping with that?
Well, according to the military, I'm what they call mentally resilient.
Mentally resilient, so
Yeah.
you're dealing with it. You've talked to the right people at the military, and they feel like you're moving forward with your life. And, yeah.
They said I deal with things quite well. I'm very resilient mentally, so.
That's good.
Personally, I've just found that it works really good for me to stand back, to step back away from the problem and look at things from an outside perspective and kind of displace yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It makes it easier to handle things.
Yeah.
You get a little too close and too involved into it, and it starts to bug you. So, and I kept trying to just kind of stand off and shut up and regain myself and hold it together. It's still not real to me yet.
How long have you been out of the military?
Oh, I've only been out for, I would say end of November, 1st of December,
So
right in there.
It was recent.
Yeah. Yep, I broke my left femur pretty bad, and I got some titanium in there, and I broke my back and broke my neck and I got 3 bad joints in this shoulder and 4 in this one, so I can't really do any heavy lifting or, you know, working over my head too much. So they put me down as non-retainable and just let my enlistment run out. So I didn't get the boot or anything.
All of that was a result of your injuries and the explosions? All those broken bones and plates?
This one, that one was from Fort Knox. The rest of it was overseas. But, of course, without an actual... I get shot, there's a hole. There it is, it happens. The rest of it, you know, but like when I broke my neck, I didn't even know I broke my neck. All I knew is I hit the top of the truck really hard, it hurt. I saw pretty lights and stars, and then I couldn't turn my head more than about that far each direction for a couple of months. And then I got a haircut, and one of the Iraqi barbers, they're doing the shoulder rub thing and popped my neck, and next thing I know, my head works fine again. So, great.
Wow.
And then after the fact, after I come back and they're doing x-rays, they're like, oh, look, you broke your neck about a year ago. Oh, middle of my deployment. Yeah, I know that one.
So what have you been doing since you got back? Or since you got released from the military in November?
Well, since that, nothing.
Nothing.
No.
Unemployed?
Yeah.
Okay.
Des and I were actually just looking at starting up a business.
What kind of business?
Well, I figured since I'm a mechanic and my entire military enlistment was as a recovery guy, driving M88 wreckers, that I'd be a tow truck driver.
That makes sense.
And like I told her, I don't want to get fired again.
Yeah.
So as long as I run the show, I can't get fired again. So yeah, we're actually just looking into the business license and the incorporation and all that to try to figure something out. And I was just talking to my dad. He's got a friend of his down in the Tri-Cities that used to be a tools distributor with him that started a towing company, I guess, about 8 years ago. And so I figured, well, been running it for 8 years. He's obviously doing something right. Maybe he's got a spare truck or two I can lease or buy off of him.
Yeah.
And get it kicked into high gear off of that.
So was Desiree working?
Yeah, she was art teacher at the Wapato Middle School.
Oh, okay. How long has she been working there?
This is her 2nd year.
How long have you two been married?
10 in November.
10? Wow.
Yeah. Met in middle school, started dating in high school. And then the first deployment came up and I got activated and mobilized and sent over to Fort Lewis, and they let us go for Thanksgiving, a little break there for a week. And when I came back on that little break, we decided it'd be a damn good time to go ahead and do it. You know, we'd already been talking about it for over a year.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a matter of waiting for the time and the money and everything to go and put together a nice shindig. And it was like, you know what, it just doesn't make sense. I just want to get married now so that if something happens to me when I'm over there, you're guaranteed to be good. Or, you know, if I'm gone and you need to do something, you can. Like, for instance, she had to buy a new car while I was gone. Well, with us being married and her having a power of attorney, it made things a lot easier.
Mm-hmm.
So
Absolutely.
it was just kind of the thing that finally forced us to do it. Made us hurry up and get it done instead of beating around the bush. But, yep. It was fun.
Yeah.
Just sucked having to take off right away afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
But when I came back, combat pay built up in the bank. We took off. We went down to Oregon for like a week and a half, and horse rides down the beach, and ate at every place we could. And I showed her all my favorite places down there, and went and fed the sea lions together, and went through the little aquarium, and petting the little sea anemones.
Yeah.
A good time.
Yeah. Sounds like it. Sounds like a great start to the marriage. You guys have Facebook accounts?
Yeah.
Is it under your names?
I
Or is
think
there
hers is under her email, the Chevy Des one. She uses it a lot more than I do. The only thing I really do on there is just kind of log in and check on stuff that other people are posting. I'm not one of those guys that throws a bunch of pictures and comments up.
Yeah, every time you
Yeah.
eat something, you have
Right.
to put a picture of it. Yeah.
Like, for instance, I got an alert earlier today when my dad tagged me in a timeline something or another, you know,
Mm-hmm.
for lunch at Carl's. Really? I used to get on her all the time because she'd go on there and she'd post something like, you know, getting ready to take off to Moses Lake to go visit my mom for the week. And I'm like, oh, no!
Come and burglarize our
Yeah,
house.
don't tell everybody we're gone. Quit it!
Yeah. Yeah, that doesn't make much sense.
So I got her broke of that habit about a year ago. She's been pretty good.
You said you have ADT on the house now,
Yeah.
and they monitor
Yeah.
so that they know when the doors open and close and everything.
Right.
Okay. And you can disarm it and arm it from your phone.
Yeah.
Okay. And you stopped on Fauché Road, just south of 24, to check the alarm status, and you rebooted your phone.
Mm-hmm.
How long did that take, that process of rebooting and then resetting the alarm?
Well, the alarm was still on. It's just the app, it said it was offline or it could not connect or something. I assume that was from coming through Conowak, yeah. From coming through the pass, temporary loss of signal, whatever. So I just rebooted it and almost immediately it started working again.
And what was the status of the alarm? What did you call it? For being you're at home and
Yeah.
motion sensors.
Yeah,
on?
there's three statuses. There's disarmed, then there's home away, and that has the motion sensor on and the door sensors on. And then there's home stay, and that means you're in the house with the alarm armed and you're going to be walking around, so no motion sensors.
Okay. And so it was on home stay when you first observed it.
Yes.
And then, but you changed it to home away, thinking that she would hear it chirping or set
Right.
it off or something.
Or she
like
would
that.
walk through the room and trip it,
Okay.
and hopefully that would get her attention and she'd get pissed at me and get on the phone and quit screwing with me. Because as long as it's been on this little trial period, because once they install it, they give you that 1 week to get used to it. As long as it's been on that, the installer was telling us, sometimes couples, the first one up in the morning will set it off because the last one that went to bed armed it for them real quick.
Yeah.
Or the first person to leave will arm it so that when the next person gets up, it'll go off. And
Yeah.
it's like, couples like to play with each other with that. So I was kind of doing that a little bit.
Yeah.
I'd log on there remotely and turn it on for her. I never did get her, though. I left the house and I passed her on the road one day, and I logged on real quick and armed it knowing that, she's going to be home in like 2 minutes. This is going to be funny. She's going to call me. No, she gets home and disarms it before she even went in. Ruined it.
When you got out there, it sounds like by the time you actually made it to the house, you were pretty frantic. Like you felt like something had gone wrong.
My stomach was churning. I was shaking. I had convinced myself by that point something had to be wrong.
Okay, and so why not go in the house and check things out and make sure she's okay?
Because I was afraid.
What were you afraid of?
When I saw that back door, I just couldn't decide whether I could deal with what I may or may not see.
And what was it about the back door that you saw that really made you feel like there was a burglary at the house?
When I put up the board on it last weekend, it covered all the glass. The bottom, maybe quarter of the plank, probably about that far up, was snapped off so I could see the glass exposed. So I knew something had been done.
Okay, so I haven't been out there, so just by what
Okay.
you're describing to me, this is what I'm picturing.
There you go.
You had your back door had like a window in it, and you had put a board over it because of a previous burglary that had happened.
The week prior, Saturday, between 2 and 4 is what we're suspecting.
Yeah, on April 2nd, there was a burglary out there.
I think April 2nd would have been the Tuesday when I reported it.
Okay, that's when it was reported, is
Right.
April 2nd.
Yeah, what we were thinking was that the burglary happened Saturday between 2 and 4 p.m.
Okay.
And reason being, I went up the street and talked to the neighbors. And the gal, if I'm going up my driveway, the one on the right has an American flag and a Marine Corps flag up. I stopped in there and she'd said that Saturday afternoon between 2 and 4, she saw a truck drive down the driveway, back out of the driveway, and then a little while later, drive back down there and back out again. And after walking around with Deputy Woodchuck and looking at it, he said that it appeared to him that whoever was in there got spooked or, for some reason they quit early.
Mm-hmm.
Because all they managed to grab was a couple of computers and some broken iPhones and her iPad and, you know, my gun and just a couple of things. So it's not like they really cleaned us out. And so he said they may be back. That obviously put up red flags. That's why the next day I had ADT out there. Or actually, same day I had ADT out there. And so after I looked around there a little bit, it was driving me nuts. And I mean, I knew I had to do something with the door, but Des had already called the homeowner's insurance, and they had a case open. They were already working on something. And I went down to Lowe's, got an estimate, everything. And it's just time being, you know, to get it by. I ran a bead of caulk around the edge of the window frame, and then put up the board over it to seal it in so we couldn't get bugs and drafts and stuff for the time being.
Okay, and it was just one solid, like, half-inch piece of plywood, or is that?
Yeah, it was probably half-inch. It was that chipboard.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yep, just like a particle board type.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so when you arrived there tonight, the bottom part of that board was broken away?
Right.
Okay.
And from where I was standing, because, I mean, the porch is out here, my car would have been over here with the light pointed at it. And the porch is, you know, a little bit of a cement pad, and then the steps. From where I was at, I couldn't see the plank. So I don't know if they broke it off and beat the glass out with it or threw it off to the side or what. But, yeah, door was shut, which I thought was pretty weird. And I just didn't know what the hell was going on. I didn't know if she got home and saw it and then freaked out and left, or anything, you know.
Mm-hmm. And so you were too afraid of what you might find to go in and check and see if she was all right?
Yeah. I can deal with a lot of things, but I think that's outside of my realms.
So your thought was that she was there and there was something wrong with her and you couldn't deal with it?
Yeah.
Is that accurate? Because otherwise,
She would have called me.
well, I'm just thinking, you're a big guy. You're what, 6'4"?
Somewhere up there.
6'4", 250. You've got a firearm on you. You've been in combat. I mean, you've done some serious shit that most people will never do. So if anyone's going to be willing to go charging in the house and make sure their wife's okay, it would seem to me that it would be you.
Well, it's not that I was afraid of anybody being in there. You know, I'll take on 100 people for her, that's fine.
Yeah.
That wasn't the concern, it was her.
You just don't want to see what may have happened to her.
Yeah.
And what did you think you might see if you went inside?
Roll around 1,000 of the worst things you could think of. The only reason I would have been forced to go in there, the only reason I could talk myself into it, was the fear that she still needed me in there. You know what I mean? Because if she was in there and she was hurt and scared or restrained, and I was sitting outside just idly waiting while she's in there going through that alone, that would have killed me.
Okay.
So if somebody else goes in there and it's fine, everything's empty, that's great. The other thing I can't deal with.
You mentioned that you got a bunch of alarm hits on through your phone at like 3 in the morning or 3. I didn't write the times down.
Yeah, I'll bring them up for you.
The alarm is monitored.
Kind of.
And you could see where you had thought she went in and out and then back in.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, it doesn't stay connected. It automatically times out after 3 hours of inactivity. So if I'm not screwing around with it every 3 hours, it shuts off. And it's set up to her email and her phone number. So if it goes off, she gets an email and a text message saying it went off. I don't. Evidently the front door is open right now. Once it finishes doing its thing here, I can show you what I'm talking about. So it still says connecting for remote.
Did you guys install any surveillance cameras or anything with the security system?
No, I asked her about it, and I asked the ADT guy about it, because I wanted to get one on the garage pointed up the driveway. So if anybody came in, I could at least get the vehicle license plate, maybe a shot of them. But that was what I was worried about. And the ADT guy said that he used Tiger Direct, just, you know, go online, order some up, and add them. Because the ADT ones are stupid overpriced, and evidently they're not that great. So we were window shopping for some. It was in the works. It was going to happen. Now, while we're sitting here waiting, front door. Okay, 9:24 p.m. was when it was open tonight, and it's been open since, apparently. Closed, yeah, see, 3:27 a.m. No, it's just updated. Evidently they've opened and closed it again. But yeah, 3:27 a.m. yesterday. It was closed twice, so that tells me that it was the vibration sensor, not the actual opening. 3:26. 3:24.
So it looks like a flurry of activity around 0324.
Yeah, 3:23. And then 6:17 p.m. and 7:43. Oh, sorry, I'm upside down. 9:17, 9:23. So that's probably, you know, letting the dog out and back in.
What kind of dog is it that you guys have?
She's a shepherd mix. She's a chipped dog. She came from the pound, so they put one of those tracking chips in her. Her name's Ada. She just went into the vet. I think Des said she was 42 pounds when they weighed her. And we adopted her from the Grant County Humane Society, so they would have her file.
Okay.
And, okay.
Is Ada pretty protective?
No, she's only barked at a couple of people. She's just a cuddly lap dog. And back door. 11:27. That would have been you guys. So 3:28 a.m. yesterday. Multiple triggers. 3:27. It was opened. 3:28. It was closed. So we're looking at right around 3:30 in the morning.
Okay.
And living room motion. See anything on it. Only trouble and alarm events are available for this sensor. So nothing.
So I understand the sequence of events. You left Yakima about 08:30 on Saturday and drove down to the Tri-Cities.
Yep.
And you were there all day at the funeral with your family.
Mm-hmm.
And then around 11 o'clock Saturday night, you drove to Warden.
Mm-hmm.
And then you left Warden at about 8:30 in the morning on Sunday. Is that right?
Yeah, 8:30, 8:45. Okay.
Drove back to the Tri-Cities where you had breakfast with your family and hung out with them all day.
Yep.
And then headed back from the Tri-Cities to Yakima this evening. Around 8 o'clock, 8:30. About 8 o'clock is roughly. Whatever driving time to where you were back in the Yakima area making phone calls around 9 o'clock, roughly. When you started calling the sheriff's office, and you called your friend Brian to see if he could come over. You tried calling Desiree at 9:11 p.m. Okay. Is that pretty accurate account of your movements? I mean, not to the minute, of course, but
pretty damn good timeline.
So, did you drive back to Yakima for anything in between that time period?
No.
Okay, so you were Yakima, Tri-Cities, Warden, Tri-Cities, back to Yakima. No trips to Yakima in the meantime. Okay. And so we can check cell phone records to confirm that and show where the tower hits, and it should give a pretty clear picture of where you were and when every time your phone registered.
Absolutely. I can't think of any time I shut it off other than that one reboot right by Fauché. I don't think I even rebooted any during the weekend.
So the phone was on most of the time.
Yeah, all the time.
What you said that Desiree's Facebook is under Chevy Des.
Yeah, her email.
Who's her email through?
Yahoo.
So it's chevydez@yahoo.com.
Yeah. I don't know if you meant to write it that way or not, but that looks like an R. CHRVY. At least it does to me.
Yeah, that's my penmanship.
Okay. As long as you know it's an E.
Yeah. Yeah. My E's get a little screwy sometimes, I guess.
No, I understand. My hands are pretty beat up. I can't write unless I'm looking at it.
What's your Facebook under?
Mine's under my Yahoo as well.
What's your Yahoo?
S. Sunford. No caps, spaces, nothing weird.
Where would Desiree, you said that the 380, that Ruger LCP is her carry gun.
Yes.
Where would she keep it when she was at home?
9 times out of 10, it's either on her, the headboard, like above her pillow next to the alarm clock, or in the little cubby right above that. There's a couple of little double doors that open up. Or even above that on the very tip top of the headboard next to the lamp. But it's always right there. Being that she's a teacher, she can't exactly keep it in her purse and take it to school, so.
You said that your relationship with her is solid. You guys haven't had any problems lately?
No.
One of the officers mentioned to me that they were already getting on and looking at Facebook statuses, and there was a status update that said something similar. I haven't seen it, but it was like getting a divorce is harder than getting away with murder or something along that line.
From who?
It was on one of you two's Facebook pages.
I don't know.
Is there any reason that she would mention divorce?
No, not unless it was jokingly, because we were fine.
You guys were good?
Yeah.
There was no arguing?
No, nothing serious.
No.
Just stupid little stuff, you know.
Were you guys fighting about stupid little stuff during the time frame that you were gone?
No, I was gone. We couldn't have been fighting.
In between, couples can fight over the telephone though,
No.
or before you leave. And I mean, it's totally understandable if you did. I mean, because married couples fight, and so it's better to just tell me now because.
No, Friday we had a little bit of a fight for like probably 15 minutes, maybe half an hour, and then a couple hours later, we sat down and we cuddled on the love seat and talked for a while. And
what was that fight about?
Pretty much because of my memory.
Why? What'd you forget?
My short-term memory is horrible. You can tell me something 1 minute, a couple minutes later it's gone. And, you know, oftentimes I'll mess up and think I told her something because I was thinking to tell her something. You know what I mean? It makes it in your head but not out your mouth.
What were you supposed to tell her that you didn't?
I don't even remember. Her mom was right there.
Her mom was there?
Yeah, I just barked at her a little bit.
But then you guys made up right away?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. No other recent fights?
No.
Did Desiree have problems with anyone else? Was there anyone else that she has fought with recently or that you can think of that might want to hurt her?
Nothing. I mean, who hates an art teacher?
I don't know.
It's an elective. Everybody that's in there wants to be there.
So she hasn't had problems with anyone?
No. Neither one of us.
Other than her relationship with Paige, did she have any other sexual relationships that you know of?
No, a few years ago, actually quite a few years ago, before we were even married, she cheated on me at one point with another guy, but, you know, that's long since over with.
When you were dating, she
Yeah.
had an affair? Has she had any affairs since you've been married?
No, not that I know of. She hasn't been good.
Okay. In the week since the burglary, have you seen anyone suspicious around the area or around the house?
No, all I got from that was the gal at the end of my driveway to the right with that American flag and the Marine Corps flag told me that that Saturday between 2 and 4 there was a gray pickup, and that's it.
Okay.
Since then, we had the ADT guy come out, and we had the mother-in-law come out, and I don't think I've even had any of my friends come out there. We haven't been there long, so it's not like there's that many people that know where we live.
Okay. Was there any life insurance on Desiree?
I don't think so. I had a lot of life insurance on me and some on her, but when I lost my job, it went away.
Who was it through before?
SGLI and SSLI. I set it all up so that if anything happened to me on any of the deployments, she'd be good.
SGLI, and what was the second one?
SSLI. It's service member group life insurance and state-sponsored life insurance. They're both military only, so they've obviously went away as soon as the whole enlistment status changed.
Okay, so as far as you know, aren't any policies in effect right now?
No, I don't think so. Because when she signed her teaching contract, I had such good coverage on us that I don't think she would have opted for any.
Okay. Is there anything else that you can think of that I should know about?
Can't think of anything. We already gave the deputies the serial number for the iPad so they could try to track that. She did tell me that she had it locked, so they couldn't boot it up, log in, get on a Wi-Fi network, and get hit that way.
Did she have another computer at home still that she could be on?
Yeah,
while she was on?
I gave her one of my old laptops for her classroom, and she brought that in from the classroom.
Okay.
And that was sitting on the desk in front of the computer's monitor from where the desktop was. And that one was a little, it was a Dell Inspiron 1505. That was her a little work computer. And she brought that in so that we could do the emails and everything to deal with the robbery.
You mentioned that you shut your phone off to reboot it. Is it very common for you to have to turn your phone off?
Every few days or so it starts kind of jamming up. It does this thing where you hit the home button and it'll work, and then other times you hit the home button and it won't work, and you gotta sit there and pound it for 10 minutes and it just jams up. I just do a quick restart and it generally starts behaving better.
Okay. I missed a phone call here just a second ago, so I need to double check what they were calling about. So
Or I could
think
use
this-
a little break to the facility myself. My
Okay.
bladder's getting pretty.
This would be a good time to take a break then.
Okay.
The time right now is 01:21 hours, and I'm Detective Sam Peralt.
So I assume we're coming back in this room?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, I saw you gathering up all your stuff. I wonder if I'll just do the same.
Oh, no, yeah,
Okay.
you're fine. You can leave it sitting right there.
Back in there, take the P-roll, we'll be right with you, okay?
Yep.
Shouldn't take too much longer here. I should be able to wrap this up.
Okay.
We're back on the recorder. The time right now is 01:46 hours. Detective Sam Peralt. One thing that I wanted to ask you about that I picked up on during our break. During the burglary,
Yes.
you mentioned that you had a friend who stayed with you guys who had a possessive boyfriend,
Yep.
and you thought that he may have been responsible for the damage.
Yep.
Who is the friend with the possessive boyfriend?
The friend is Paige. That's how she started staying with us.
Okay.
That's how her and Des started building their relationship. The possessive boyfriend, his name is Dylan Williams. At the time, I left it at that because there was, you know, you hate to point fingers without a any justification. You know what I mean? I don't want to make wild accusations. I was just trying to get the guy informed and give him a direction.
Okay. And so Dylan is Paige's boyfriend. Ex-boyfriend, they're not
Yeah.
together? Okay. Did he come up at all in your visit with Paige when you drove up there?
Not since we've been at that home.
Okay. But did you talk to Paige about him at all when you were there Saturday night?
No.
Okay.
No.
She didn't mention him?
No. Go back to this little guy for a second. After the robbery, I contacted her to ask her if she thought that he was would have been a good suspect, whatever you want to call it. You know, if he was a concern, and she sent me pictures of his truck, and his truck is a blue truck, and that's his license plate number. And then she sent me a text message that I made a note of.
Have you had any run-ins with Dylan?
Not for quite some time.
Do you know where Dylan lives?
Oh, I now remember where I put that note. I have actually been gathering information on him since the robbery. And as soon as I find it, here we go. He is staying with a man named Matt. His address is in Moses Lake. And then the reason that I made good note of it is Matt, the roommate, his girlfriend, has a white Dodge truck, license number Bravo 38266.
3826.
Bravo 3826. No 8.
382.
That one needs to go away. There you
65 Charles.
go. And he also rides a Sportster 1200. License. And there's his mobile number.
That's Dylan's number?
Yeah. Dylan Williams right there. And I had her go over there and visit him the other night to see if she could basically inconspicuously get me his whereabouts and look for any of my property that might be in his place, because like I told the officer at the time, with a robbery like that, when they take only the tower and not the rest of the accessories, it implies that they're after the data, that they're not after the monetary value. And, I mean, maybe I'm just being abnormally paranoid here, or my train of thoughts off, but you take the computer tower, you want the data. You take the laptop, you want digital data. You take an iPad, you're looking for communications. You take a couple of old iPhones, you're looking for communications. You see what
Sometimes,
had
but
me
if,
going?
if a lot of the times in our standard burglaries, tweakers grab electronics just because they
Right.
can pawn them for $5 or whatever.
I understand that, and that's what the deputy had told me as well, but it was in there, you know what I mean? It's, I mean, my laptop didn't have anything important on it that anybody else would have wanted, but it had a copy of my DD-201 Army personnel file on there, and, you know, it had old pictures from deployment on there. It had, you know, some technical data from the M1 tanks and the Bradleys and the stuff that I was doing at work. So it's not like it was anything that the general public would be interested in. But if somebody got it, they would have my personnel file with my social security number all over it. So that gave me concern. So, I mean, maybe I'm way off the hook on this. Maybe it was just tweakers looking for stuff, but it seemed personal to me. It just felt that way. And so that's why I brought it up and I looked into it and tried to see what I could find. I also went around to a couple of the pawn shops in town and asked them. And ironically enough, the one that was the most helpful to me was the one that I was told has a bad habit of acquiring stolen property. That's that one on the corner of First and Knob. And Des pointed me to that one. She said she talked to the mail person and that they recommended going there. And after talking to a few other people, they basically confirmed that, yeah, they're kind of a shady place. And the rest of the pawn shops, they just told me, hey, we can't tell you what we got in. We can't tell you who brought what. We can't tell you a damn thing. All you can do is come in, give us the case number with lists of serial numbers, and wave and leave. And if we feel like checking it and notifying the police department, we will. Otherwise, screw you. Go away. So that's what I got from all of them. And I believe the guy's name was Beto, who's the manager of that one on First and Knob. And the gal actually brought him out, so I got to speak with the manager, owner, whatever you want to call him. And I talked to him for a while, and he told me, you know, I haven't seen anything like that come in. Thanks for the heads up. So I thought it was kind of odd that of all the places, that it's the one that's supposed to be non-cooperative and shady is the one that was being helpful.
Yeah, I've actually had mixed results with them myself. Part of the investigation, as we process the crime scene, is going to be, of course, looking for DNA evidence. And as part of that, we're going to need to take Desiree's DNA and your DNA and compare it to what we find. Of course, we expect to find your DNA at your house, but we still need to have a sample of it as elimination.
So you can eliminate any DNA. Right.
Yeah. So I would ask that you submit to a couple oral DNA swabs.
Not a problem.
Okay.
I think I'm already in the federal database on that anyways. I would recommend, however, that you also collect her mother's DNA. Her mother was up there with us this last week.
Okay. How old are you?
31.
Okay, this is just our standard voluntary permission to search form. It says, I, Scott Sunford, 320 North St. Hilaire Road, Yakima, Washington, 31 years of age, being in legal custody or control of the premises. 2 oral DNA swabs. I've been informed that Detective Sam Peralt of the Yakima County Sheriff's Office would like to search the above indicated person. I understand that I'm refused to consent to the search. I understand that if I consent to the search, I withdraw or revoke that consent. I understand that I may limit the scope of the consent to certain areas. I understand the evidence found during the search may be used in court against me or any person. I hereby grant permission to search the above listed person. This permission is granted without threats or promises of any kind by any police agency. The granting of this permission is free and voluntary act. I'm going to ask you to sign right there.
Yeah.
Just open your mouth. One more time. When you went down to the Tri-Cities,
Yeah.
you said you weren't planning to spend the night. You were planning to drive back that night.
I wasn't sure.
Okay. So did you take a travel bag with you?
No.
Okay. So
No, I was wearing a t-shirt and an old pair of jeans, and I brought a long sleeve because, questionable weather. And I'd been talking to Des about wanting to get a new pair of jeans pretty soon because my better of the pairs had a small hole in one knee and a torn belt loop. So while I was down there, I went shopping because I couldn't find any up here. And I got a new pair of jeans anyways that I'm wearing today. So I already had that covered. It was just the undergarments, and well, needless to say, I didn't exactly do too much sweating or anything.
So you bought new clothes while you were down there?
Yeah,
What did you do with the clothes that you had been wearing?
they're in the trunk of
Okay.
my Crown bag in a Macy's bag.
When did you change into the new clothes?
This morning.
Okay. leather jacket today. Did you wear that on the trip down to the Twin Cities?
Yeah.
I'll give you the copies of those to take with you. And you were wearing those shoes
Yeah.
when you went to the house?
I'm gonna get sole prints off of them too, so you can.
Well, in the interest of doing a thorough investigation, to be honest with you, I would like, for the most thorough investigation, I would like to take all your clothes that you were wearing when you went out to the house. That would include the shoes, of course, so we have sole prints to see.
Yeah.
You walked to the garage.
I was on gravel the whole time, so it wouldn't really help any, I don't think.
And that is very likely the case. And like I say, it's just in the interest of being thorough.
Oh, I understand.
And what I would like to do is take your cell phone as well, because you've got all the alarm data on there. You've got pictures of the license plates. There's just cell phones are a wealth of information.
Yeah, I understand. If you'd like, if I can get a cell number from you, I'll take screenshots of anything and send it to you. But right now, I'm going to have everybody in the world trying to get a hold of me. I don't want to part with it.
Yeah. That's understandable.
Not to mention how many people I'm going to have to call.
Okay.
And as far as the clothes are concerned, I mean, the clothes I was wearing yesterday, they're in the trunk. You're welcome to them. Like I said, I didn't have an overnight bag, so I don't have an extra pair of shoes. I don't have anything else with me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to strip down and walk out of here butt naked.
Just for my record, you got green pullover.
Yeah. I am wearing a white t-shirt underneath it. I'll part with the shirt, man.
Shirt. Watch. Blue jeans.
Yes, sir.
Black leather jacket. And what kind of shoes? Black boots.
Yeah, actually, I bought them locally. I bought them from Fred Meyer. I don't know. They typically put a brand stamping in the middle of the sole. Does this have it?
There is one, but it's a little worn down.
Okay, I'll pull it off, see if there's one on the tongue. I really don't want to go into my house to get another change of clothes, another pair of boots, but if you still have deputies there in the master bedroom there alongside my dresser, I have another pair of boots on the floor. If they get those, I'll part with these. That's fine.
Okay. Let me make a phone call and see.
Yeah, that's not going to help you any either.
Okay. I'm gonna step out for just a second and call them out there. Time right now is 0207. Just sit tight for a second. I'll be right back.
Will do.
We had some clothes brought over from the house so that we could change into them. And because it is important, and I understand that you're reluctant to give up your phone and all your clothing, but I did obtain a telephonic search warrant to take your clothing and your boots and your phone. Okay?
Oh, to take it?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you just wanted to search it.
Well, we are, but to do that, we have to seize it and take custody of it and keep it here during the investigation. So it's not like, I don't want to take your phone and then thumb through it and then hand it right back to you. I'm actually going to have to keep it.
Yeah, that's fine.
While we search.
Do you need the contact numbers out of there?
That's what I was gonna say. Can I get a notepad
Yep.
and pen and sit down for a while?
I'm assuming that's.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get that one.
Now, they found the barrel of the gun used, matched 9mm casings, and even the boots that matched the bloody footprint at the murder scene, all in Marty's possession. Marty maintains that he was set up to take the fall. In the end, Marty took an Alford plea, which means that he does not admit to the crime but believes there's enough evidence to convict him. Marty Grismer is serving a 15-year prison sentence at Washington State Penitentiary in Walla Walla, Washington. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you very soon.